like I was listening to an interview with Tom Morello, the like guitarist for Rage Against the Machine, and he was talking about like he used to spend 8 hours a day like practicing guitar, and he got like all the like chops of it, and like he can play guitar extremely well. But there's that like craftsman type mentality with music, and then like the voice mentality of like having expressing yourself. Like, how do you balance the two for you? Are you practicing like musicianship stuff a lot, or like studying it, or like are you just trying to express yourself?
Well, for me, I sing like all day, every day. Like whenever I can practice, I practice. Like since I was little, I just sing. But for me, guitar is something I recently got into, and I had to teach myself. And although I've had some teachers along the way, I really have been just kind of navigating it in my own way, like watching videos and really just getting into like the muscle memory part of it. So
It's fucking
I don't
hard.
read books or
Yeah,
anything,
yeah.
but I'm getting into that. Like I have to know the theory to really expand. Like it's it's useful. You have
Yeah.
to know it.
It's just so like it's exactly what you're saying, left brain. I grew up as a drummer, and I got into playing guitar and bass, and like with every instrument I got to, I just was like I can't do like I know what I want to do. I just can't physically get myself to do it,
Yeah,
and
the
like
intention's there.
the intention is definitely there. Just I would be like 3 hours in my basement practicing like different percussion things, and I just you either have it or you don't in some way. It's
Yeah,
like you can work on scales all day and like do all this shit, but if there's nothing behind it, it's just mechanical, you know?
very true.
Yeah, it's God, I hate that about music. Like I because I still see myself as a musician. Like
It's in you. It
yeah,
is. You can do it.
but I just can't get like I can do what I do on stage with comedy. It was the first thing like I didn't suck at. And I feel like I see musicians I'm like they don't suck at like this. They have
Dude,
natural
because we had
ability.
all that time to suck at the beginning.
Yeah,
Like artists, like I'm pretty sure 90% of our career we were like not that great. And
yeah.
then we finally peak. Like and people notice us. Cuz for me I started so young, like I had time to be bad
Hmm.
and no one noticed.
That was that hard for you being that young and going through like just adolescence and shit, and then like being exposed in that way? Like,
Yes, definitely. Especially when it's a male dominated industry. And being in, I guess, the city I lived in when I started, I didn't have a lot of opportunity. I didn't have a lot of resources. There weren't a lot of mentors or people to learn from. And I had no idea what I was doing. Like, I pretty much winged it. It's
that
like,
seems dangerous too. Like,
yes.
did you, I mean, without getting into too much detail, like, did you find yourself in some shitty situations or?
Yeah, I did. And, being young, you definitely get taken advantage of because you're naive and you just have a dream. And I I realized that a lot earlier than I expected myself to because a lot of young artists they just get caught in that. But I was able to kind of detach myself for a second and say, well, I have a purpose. Like how are these people around me helping me reach it? And how are they taking away from this goal?
Hmm.
So being so young and like caught in that, I think it made me grow up a lot faster.
That's a lot to like, I mean, what, you were
Yeah.
15 or something? I mean,
Yeah. It's 14. Yeah, 15. So it
any,
was
do you
weird.
have any advice to somebody that's in that situation now? Like, just sort of things that you would do differently or wish you had known?
Yes. Trust your intuition. Be mindful of your time and your money. And really be mindful of who you surround yourself with and what their missions are. Because if you surround yourself with people that are, trying to do something negative, you're probably going to be doing the same thing.
Hmm.
And I realized that like immediately I was exposed to things that I shouldn't have been exposed to at such a young age. So for me, it's really like understanding like where your passion comes from and keeping that in mind, like no matter what.
You, how, look, Can I ask how old you are?
Yeah. I'm 21. I'll be 22 in October.
You are very mature for your, like, it shows that you've spent a lot of time like growing early, and it just, that's a lot of heavy stuff to go through young.
Yeah. And geez, I think the hardest part about it was I really, I did connect with some people during that, and I lost them, unfortunately. And that loss is something that like enabled me to kind of have not a selfish mindset, but definitely keep myself in in front of everything instead of thinking of like myself last.
Yeah,
Like
purposeful.
yeah. I had a friend, Justin, who I connected with when I was 14, and we both started this music career at the same time. And him being a rapper from the Bronx, and me like this young girl with like a bunch of soul. Like it was definitely odd for us to connect, but at that time, I didn't really have a lot of friends. I was super shy. I was going to open mics and not doing that great. Like I didn't have a lot to show for myself, but he definitely saw a lot in me as far as my passion and how much I just like embraced music. And I don't really tell a lot of people this, but when I first started music, I wanted to be a rapper.
Really?
I wanted to be a rapper. Like that's my heart and soul is like old school hip hop, and that's what I was raised on. So when I met Justin, this dude from the Bronx who is just a cold ass rapper, that was something I just like immediately fell into. And unfortunately, like he was murdered like 2 years into our friendship, and after that, I just like my whole entire outlook on music changed.